But I remember, like, for example, like, as we were getting the autographs, we'd get smarter about them. So, for example, a lot of the Blue Jay players at the time were very, very engaging. But you had to figure out where to get them. It was very hard to get them right inside the stadium or when, batting practice is going on because they're busy, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody figured out where the cars come out of the tunnel. So we would line up outside the tunnel. We'd have, like, cases of baseballs. And, Kelly Gruber, Dwayne Ward,
Steve,
John
all those
Olerud.
guys.
John Olerud would stop all day long and sign for you. And you'd go get his autograph, go back in line, take off your hat, get him to sign again, take off your sweatshirt, then put on your hoodie, and you'd get...
But, okay, here's a bit of trivia, and I know that you know the answer, but this is very time period important.
Yes.
What car did they all drive?
Oh, this is easy, man. They were all driving white Honda Accords.
Okay. Like, think of the gravity of that, okay? Imagine the 2022 Toronto Raptors. They're all leaving the Scotiabank Arena, and they're all coming out with white Honda Accords. And let's be clear, every single Blue Jay had a white Honda Accord. And did they have like a Blue Jays logo on the driver's side door and the passenger door? I think they might have.
It might have something identifying it, but
But the point is, think about athletes today and think about back then, and literally every athlete was driving a white Honda Accord. That's exactly the right answer.
Did they have keyless remote in those?
No, I don't think so.
So how did they know which car was theirs?
License
Think about it. There's 25
license plates.
But who's going to memorize their license plate? You have white.
License
25
plates.
white Honda Accords all lined up.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about the era of the athlete when they're all coming in McLarens and Bugattis and Mercedes and G-Wagons.
Or they're getting dropped off.
Not there's anything wrong with the Honda Accord, but first of all,
no,
them
not
driving,
if you're making $25 million a year.
Right. And also everybody driving the exact same car. But that's the way it was. You just see the white Honda Accord coming.
White Honda.
No tinted windows.
Yeah.
And the guy would stop every time. So there's about 5 or 6 of them, and superstar to mid superstar, and they would sit and sign after every single game, and that was pretty freaking cool. And even like the Toronto Maple Leafs at the time, when they used to play out of the Gardens before they went over to the ACC, which is now Scotiabank, which is now whatever. The name changes pretty much every day, right? So back then,
I think Scotia secured a very long deal there, but yes.
Good luck, Scotia.
Yeah.
So Leafs come out, and they have their cars all lined up outside. There's no underground parking, and they have no choice but to walk to their cars. It's just a question of which exit they're coming out of.
Oh, now I remember this.
Yeah, so like there was 4 or 5 exits out of the gardens.
Oh my God, this is a memory.
So you try to figure out which one is their cars, and you know that a few of them line up. Someone took the subway, and you had to it would be
we
very
used to
strategic.
run. We used to go from was it Carlton? What's the street?
Church and Carlton. Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
We used to run from the back door to the side door to the front, and it was like, let's go.
And there's no cell phones. There's no texting each
nothing.
other.
Zilch.
So just yelling.
Yes.
And the Leafs were great at the time. Most of them would stop and sign. But there was this thing all of a sudden where they started. And I remember going for autographs in the afternoon, midday games. And they said, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to sign for you, kid. I'm like, why not? Because you should be in school. And we should not be signing autographs encouraging you to not be in school.
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, and I said, I finished school early. I was done in 3.5 years, so I'm actually off right now before university, so there's no problem for you to sign for me, sir. And most would sign, but some
It's
didn't
like,
believe me.
you should be a lawyer. I think that was like an early indication of your mindset. So there you go. So autographs might have shaped your career path.
There was a day I got a phone call from the high school, and they said to me, Mr. Cohen, why were you not in school yesterday? I said, I was on a field trip. And they said, what field trip was this? I said, in my law course, I went to go to the police station and interview police officers for my project. I did go to the practice first and got autographs, but then I went afterwards.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them about the autograph part.
It's irrelevant.
They said, did you get authorization for this? Was I supposed to? My apologies. I didn't understand that. I thought that was okay. So anyways, different times back then, right?
But let's go back to what you said earlier, because I also have this vivid memory that there was tiers of niceness, and hockey players were always the nicest.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know if the NBA players, which that was like a big deal. It was only once, like it was a big deal. They were nice because they were like ambassadors of like the NBA to Canada, or like, I don't know if I would make the generalization, or they had nothing to do and they're like in Toronto, they don't know where to go. And then baseball players, most of them were like jerks, like really big jerks, in my opinion. Yeah.
I would say that's true, and I would say for a couple levels. Number one, the baseball season is way longer than the basketball season and the hockey season, right?
Yeah.
It's double. It's 162 games versus 81 games.
Yeah.
That's number one. They have a lot more travel involved. And
I mean, so what?
at some point, you just get bothered so many. Okay, like I'll give you the Wayne Gretzky example.
Yeah.
You know, I remember with Gretzky, with not always signing autographs.
Yeah.
And I remember a little kid coming up to him and getting an autograph. And Mr. Gretzky, can you write it out to my name? And Gretzky looked at him and said, personalize it yourself. And that's not the image you have of Wayne Gretzky.
No, of course not.
And somebody said to me, like, what a jerk. Like, Wayne Gretzky, seriously? I thought he was like the nicest guy. And I said, think about this. As we've been at this hotel right now, the man goes to eat dinner. Look how many times he got bothered as he's approaching the restaurant. He gets approached for pictures and for autographs while he's in the restaurant eating. As he leaves, the man cannot stop for 1 second without getting a picture or an autograph request. At some point, when you're with your family, it does get annoying and you'd like some privacy, you know? Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.